YouTuber Tati Westbrook is back, and despite saying that there is no drama or scandal involved in her decision, she has decided to shut down her beauty brand. However, it may have a lot more to do with the massive lawsuits that she has coming her way. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right here on IO. But first, if you happen to be new here and you don't want to miss another video, make sure you tap that subscribe button. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Recently, many fans of Tati Westbrook were shocked to find a message that read, "Tati Beauty is now closed," upon looking at her website. It goes on to say, "Thank you for all of your support and the amazing memories." Tati made an official announcement though on her YouTube page that currently has 8.72 million subscribers. So far, the video titled "Why I'm Closing Tati Beauty" has garnered almost 180,000 views in just 6 hours. Initially, she rose to fame from making beauty tutorials and vlogs about her life. However, in recent years, the YouTube beauty community has not been so kind to her. In 2019, her name was plagued by drama, and in May of that year, she even posted a 43-minute video criticizing her former friend James Charles. She accused her mentee of inappropriate behavior and for betraying her by advertising a competitor to her vitamin brand. As a result, James lost a ton of subscribers and wouldn't gain some of them back until he posted a response video. The drama became so high profile that it was actually nicknamed Dramageddon 2.0. Around a year later, she was back at it again, and this time called out 2 more YouTube stars. A year removed from that first video, she attempted to accuse Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star of manipulating her into making that video calling out James Charles. Now she is back and swears the drama has nothing to do with her deciding to close down Tati Beauty. According to Westbrook, the pandemic and a lawsuit surrounding one of her other brands, the vitamin line Halo Beauty, have both played a massive role in her deciding to close down. The lawsuit I just mentioned was brought forth by Halo Beauty co-founder and former business partner Clark Swanson. Clark filed the lawsuit against Tati and her husband James in October of 2020, and because of it, Tati claimed that she had to sell her home and condo in LA to pay for the legal fees. She goes on to say, "COVID hit and that definitely slowed things down. It slowed the whole world down. And then of course you guys are aware of outside litigation that really impacted my life in full. So that kind of T-boned everything, and here we are." Adding, "Tati Beauty is closing its doors. We are no longer selling products online, and I say that with a heavy heart. I have loved creating this brand. I had huge goals, dreams, visions for the future." Tati explained in her video that launching a brand had always been a big goal for her because she loved the artistry of makeup. She said that she wished things were different but was grateful for the opportunity to launch what she did. In the last part of her announcement, she goes on to say, "There's just timing of the world, and sadly outside litigation had a huge impact. And that's just my life right now, and I'm hopeful for better days ahead." A lot of her fans are saddened by this news, but for the most part have been pretty encouraging of her future projects. One person said in response to the news, "Sorry for you and for the people you employed. Hope you will be able to reopen the company after all the legal stuff is done with." With another adding, "So sad to hear, but I'm glad you're in a good place, and I'm excited to see what you do in the future." A big part of this, like I mentioned earlier, are the massive lawsuits that she's involved with. That lawsuit by her former business partner Clark Swanson is especially troubling. Apparently he sued Tati for having her own makeup brand because I guess that wasn't part of their deal. He then sued both Tati and her husband for breach of contract, gross negligence, and fraudulent inducement. However, in response to those allegations, Tati's lawyer called them meritless and absurd. He told the news in a statement, "Swanson's claim is not only baseless, it is offensive and defies common sense. I suppose the only time will tell if Tati can make it through these lawsuits and return to the world of beauty."
Although it seems like the world is healing post-pandemic, the virus is still spreading rapidly, causing issues for influencers that try and act like it's completely gone away. One of these influencers is now being cancelled because of allegations that her mother continued to socialize even though she knew she had COVID. I'm Mackenzie, and let's get into it. Instagram influencer Daryl Ann Detter recently revealed that her mother, who is an influencer in her own right, had been hospitalized with COVID-19. Daryl Ann has 1 million Instagram followers, while her mother Lisa has 150,000 followers. Of course, this announcement brought sympathy for her and her mother, Lisa Fletcher, but that quickly turned to anger. This was after fans realized that Lisa had been out socializing just days before her hospitalization, clearly while she knew she was positive. The timeline surrounding this event is hard to confirm, but as of now, Lisa has been in the hospital for about a week fighting the virus. Lisa is actually well known in Daryl Ann's community, frequently appearing with her daughter on her Instagram account, and even running her own page, like I said, has 150,000 followers of her own. But the issue with this is that allegedly Daryl Ann said that her mother tested positive for the virus 10 to 12 days before needing hospitalization, shortly after the family arrived in California from Texas. That information caused huge backlash because Lisa didn't change her lifestyle habits whatsoever after testing positive and was even seen out in public by many fans. After this was all revealed, fans were desperate to know if Lisa really did test positive for more than a week prior to her hospitalization, and did she do any sort of quarantine after learning her diagnosis. But of course, many assumed the worst, and the comment section on Daryl Ann's post quickly turned ugly, with people assuming that she was knowingly spreading the virus. One of these comments read, quote, "How completely selfish and irresponsible of y'all to know you had tested positive, but chose not to quarantine. You and your family have been all over the place throughout the past week." Apparently, a fan even reached out to the BuzzFeed writer who's reporting on the story, and the fan claimed that they saw Daryl Ann and her mother a few days before and even took a picture with them. After the fan learned of her mother's diagnosis, the fan was incredibly disappointed, saying they expected more from her. And the fans obviously worried about getting COVID themselves. Following all the outrage, Daryl Ann decided to start deleting comments instead of addressing people's issues with the family. In response to this effort to silence her critics, accounts then popped up on Instagram that are dedicated to sharing the ugly truth about this whole incident. These accounts are also documenting all of the deleted comments. Some fans are even going so far as to reach out to many of Daryl Ann's sponsors, thinking that if her cash flow is hurt, she will finally address it. Today, Daryl Ann posted many cryptic quotes on her Instagram page, making it clear that she sees all the backlash, but doesn't think it's valid enough to warrant an actual response from her. So that's really all for the story as of now. Please let me know your thoughts on this one below. It's definitely pretty strange, but I think it's going to become maybe a more common thing. I'm surprised it's really not. Like, if someone tests positive and they were out days before, you know, do they have any sort of accountability if they're posting this stuff and then something happens? It's, oh, were you out and you had COVID and you knew it? And you were trying to like hide it. So there is like a lot of weirdness going on, and I'm sure this probably isn't the first case of this happening, but please leave your thoughts on this one below. I think it's very crazy. If this is true, why not address it? I mean, even if it's true or false, she should be addressing it regardless.
Toronto's very own Lilly Singh, who made the jump from YouTube to late night TV, is ending her show a little late with Lilly Singh to pursue other ventures. Well, actually, it seems the show was brought to an end by NBC, the network who produced the show. However, there may be a silver lining to all of this. If you're a fan of the show, unfortunately, no, there isn't going to be a third season. However, we haven't seen the last of Lilly on TV just yet. I'm gonna tell you guys all about it right now in InformOverload. Smash that like button and let's get into it. Let's go! Debuting in September of 2019, Lilly Singh was making some serious moves when it was announced she'd be getting her own late night TV show. If people thought the Scarborough native had reached new heights when she managed to become best friends with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, well, think again, because like any good businesswoman and entrepreneur, it seems Lilly is once again stepping her game up. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't watch the show, but let me know if you guys did in the comments down below. I think maybe I saw like the first episode. With all due respect, it just seems that her show couldn't compete with the likes of Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers, who were scheduled to air in the time slots prior to her show. That being said, her show was on at 1:30 in the morning, so I feel that in itself is already a problem, but I mean, it's late night TV, right? Like, that's kind of the point, is it is late at night. Maybe I just go to sleep too early. I really don't know. That's why I never watched her show. I sleep at like 10 o'clock. It seems aside from the show's ratings, which honestly haven't been all that great, the struggles of adapting and continuing to film during the pandemic has also brought some troubles to the team. The show's cancellation is actually somewhat surprising, despite the shaky ratings, because it seemed her show had been renewed for a third season just a few months back. There was a clip promoting the third season, which is still available on YouTube. However, it seems not much more than that. The show's final episode is expected to air on June 3rd, and taking to Instagram, Lilly expressed her gratitude for the opportunity given to her, and also let everyone know what to expect from her in the near future. As I said, there is definitely a silver lining here, as Singh has been able to secure herself a deal with both NBC Universal and Netflix, which is like winning gold and silver at the Olympics. So I mean, good for her. Like, Netflix is like right here, and then NBC Universal is right here. I mean, I guess HBO is like maybe there with Netflix. You guys get what I'm saying though. Good for her. Sharing a statement on Instagram, she explained, I quote, "2 years ago, I embarked on the wild journey of late night TV. I knew the show was about more than me, and I will forever be grateful for the opportunity and support. Today I write to you from a similar place of deep gratitude to share some news. I'm going to focus on the slate of projects my company Unicorn Island Productions is developing, and we're saying goodbye to a little late with Lilly Singh. I have a desire to make longer form content telling underrepresented stories, which is difficult to execute on a nightly show. Being an advocate for young women and people all over the world, it seems Singh wants to continue breaking down barriers and proving to others that if there is no paved road, well, just pave your own. And that, my friends, is definitely admirable. Regardless if you enjoy Lilly's content or show, you can't knock the hustle." Her post continued on by explaining she's partnered with both Netflix and NBC Universal to work on 2 separate projects. I quote, "I'm thrilled to announce NBC Universal and I have taken the next step in our relationship by signing a first look deal between Universal Television Alternative Studio and Unicorn Island Productions." Very long names for companies, great. I'm excited about bringing even more diversity to screen in an even bigger way. Aside from that project, it seems she's going to be starring in a Netflix series produced by Kenya Barris, who is most well known for the hit TV show Blackish, in which he is the creator and one of the main writers. I quote Singh's post reading, "I also get to share the news that I am developing a comedy project with the wonderful folks at Netflix. It will be executive produced by the talented Kenya Barris and his team at Calibo Inc. Society, along with writers/executive producers Nell Scovell and Dia Mishra. And your girl is starring in it." That's how she ends it. Your girl is starring in it. So aside from being the show's lead, or so it appears, she'll also be producing, or as she put it, developing the project. Wrapping things up, appearing to be quite excited from the text in her post, Lilly wrote, I quote, "This is just the beginning. I can't wait to share more with you, but this is all I can tease for now. I'm beyond grateful for your support, past, present, and future. And to the Late with Lilly crew, I'm so proud of the progress we made in diversifying late night. We've given 21 people their late night debut this season. That's pretty incredible, and it's been a true honor." It seems when Singh first debuted her show, it was met with mixed feelings. She had a lot of support from her followers and the YouTube community, but it seems those who watch traditional television, or should I say, the boomers, had issues with her. I'm just kidding. It's no secret that a handful of YouTubers have found ways to break out of the platform, with Lilly getting her own TV show, the Paul Brothers boxing, and Mr. Beast making his own restaurant of sorts. This is clearly just the beginning of what's to come for some of the platform's biggest stars. That being said, it seems there is also somewhat of a negative connotation that is brought with the idea of a YouTube star making the transition to Hollywood, as those who don't watch YouTube likely think there isn't much work that goes into creating content. I can't say for sure, but a lot of people probably mesh the idea of like influencers, YouTubers, and content creators all under one net, which I mean, I can see why, but I think they are all incredibly unique in their own ways. A lot of them have their own ways of making things work, is what I'll say. All in all, I want to wish Lilly all the best with her future endeavors. It's not yet been determined what will be taking over her 1:30 a.m. slot on NBC. However, it seems the network is going to be going back to what they called a creative playground for the time slot, swapping out some of their original programming. Not sure what that will be, but we'll just have to wait and see until after June 3rd. It's also unclear when we can expect Lilly's new project to be released, but given that it seems we're almost at the light at the end of the tunnel, aka this pandemic is hopefully coming to an end, well, maybe they'll drop the pilot before a year's end.
But sadly, it wasn't one of our 52 genders. So, what? There's more than, there's 63 genders now? Is someone just getting paid to sit there and think of genders?
So a video from 2016 and several older tweets have come back to haunt Mr. Beast, and now people are not only trying to cancel him for that, but they are also coming for him because of how much money he has. Yes, even despite him being YouTube's biggest philanthropist, people are still trying to end his career on the platform. But before we dive into all of those details, we need you to smash that like button to show some love to the channel. And with that out of the way, let's just begin. Mr. Beast has always been this sort of social media Robin Hood, if you will. His large endorsement deals with brands is typically his primary source of income for these giveaway videos, but the real money comes in going viral, hence the extreme titles like giving people money to quit their jobs. Many people have questioned though Mr. Beast's generosity, and previously in an article from 2018 with The Atlantic, he explains why he loves giving things away. In the article he says, "I genuinely enjoy helping people. It's something I've had an issue with. I'm that much of a nice guy. I don't know why, and I'm not just saying this to look good, I've just always been a really nice guy." Although today he may be eating those words as people jumped on the hashtag Eat the Rich. One user writes, "I just can't believe Mr. Beast never gave anyone his money. He's never gave anyone his money ever in his life, and I'm sick of it. He's only given his money to his friends and no one else outside of his friends. Hashtag Eat the Rich." Although anyone who follows Mr. Beast knows that this is the furthest thing from the truth. Most of his career has been devoted to planting trees, distributing food to the needy, and handing out huge sums of money to clearly random people. Although just because he does all of these nice things certainly does not absolve him from the homophobic comments that he made in his past. Def Noodles was the first one to dig up an older video that we can't even play on here because it's literally just slur after slur. I mean, if we played it, it would just sound like someone flatlining at a hospital. Def Noodles describes the clip that has been viewed over 30,000 times, saying, "Video of Mr. Beast saying homophobic slurs in a live resurface. This is on the same many are calling out his friend Chris Tyson for making Islamophobic statements in older tweets." Another user on Twitter combined these two reasons for cancellation into one tweet even. Karen Doe writes, "Just because it was normal at the time doesn't mean it's okay. Mr. Beast is transphobic and homophobic, period, and he should donate most of his money to gay people. Hashtag Eat the Rich." Beyond video evidence of Jimmy freely using homophobic slurs, there was also several tweets where he used the notion of being gay as a punchline and thus using the F word, if you will, to diss whomever he's speaking to on Twitter. These tweets as well are from 2016 and 2017, so it's not like he didn't know that these words were cancelable offenses. I mean, 2016 is really when the cancel culture movement took off, and so content being thrown around like this should have brought more attention, but people were too busy worrying about what Donald Trump was tweeting to even care. Regardless of his personal sexuality, the intention behind using slurs like this is still an issue with many. According to The Atlantic's initial report on this back in 2018, they reached out to Jimmy for comment but said he showed no regret or remorse. In his response, he is quoted as saying, "I'm not offensive towards anyone. I'm not offensive in the slightest bit in anything I do. I'm just going to ignore it. I don't think anyone cares about this stuff." He then asked if The Atlantic could simply run a positive article about him not including his use of slurs. And when The Atlantic notified him that this would not be happening, he suggested that they send him a list of questions that he could answer over email. Although he did abruptly end the call after saying that he was just a dumb kid that makes YouTube videos and that he doesn't like doing interviews. Minutes after that call ended though, Jimmy would go on to delete all of the tweets where he used homophobic slurs. This is a rough one to talk about because of how much charity work he does, but hey, no one is safe from personal accountability, and in the age of cancel culture, the masses will hold your feet to the fire over past comments they deem problematic to progressing further as a society.
And at number 10, David Dobrik. Of course, I had to start this list off with the most prominent cancellation going on right now. David Dobrik. David Dobrik and his vlog squad have been getting backlash for old pranks for months now, but David never decided to address it until an insider article was published that shared an account from a woman that said that a member of the group, Durte Dom, forced himself on her while David was filming a bit for the vlog. In the article, David is called out for facilitating a toxic environment that led to illegal and disgusting acts to be committed. A few former members of the vlog squad, Seth Francois and Big Nick, also came forward on the H3 podcast and exposed how they were both picked on while they were part of the squad and agreed to do uncomfortable things just for content. They also claim that when they spoke up about it, they were cut from the group. Currently, tons of sponsors have dropped David, including Singh, who helped him give away free cars to most of his friends, as well as monetization has been stripped from his YouTube channel. And I don't think he's going to be coming back for a long time. And at number 7, Amanda Singh. Beauty influencer Amanda Singh was cancelled after she became increasingly political on her social media accounts. Singh is a pro-Trump Republican. The Sun reported that Singh tweeted and retweeted more than 50 times the day of the Capitol riots in support of the rioters. Then apparently days later, she uploaded a video sponsored by Sephora. Sephora's social media accounts were then immediately flooded with backlash for working with Singh, and she was later dropped by the brand because of that backlash. Sephora's social media channels were then flooded by comments by followers of Singh, bashing the company for cutting ties with her just because she was a conservative. Singh responded to her split from Sephora by posting a video to her channel where she claimed to be unfairly singled out by the company for being Republican and Christian. However, her critics say that she was not dropped for being conservative, but rather for spreading controversial information. And at number 6, the Lopez brothers. TikTok stars Anthony and Andreas Lopez have both been accused of with teenagers. The backlash started when multiple allegations came out against Tony Lopez, with most of the accusers providing screenshots that they told Tony their ages. Then months later, an accusation came out about Andreas. As well, a TikTok went viral that showed Andreas speaking with the mother of that teenage accuser, essentially proving that it did happen. In early January of this year, it was reported that a lawsuit had been filed against Tony for his actions. The brothers somehow still managed to get millions of views on TikTok, but most of the comments are all negative surrounding these situations. Halfway at number 5, Gabby DiMartino. YouTuber Gabby DiMartino was cancelled after it was exposed that she sold inappropriate photos of herself on OnlyFans, which was essentially selling illegal content to people that expected it to be explicit because it was being sold on OnlyFans. And because of a leaked DM conversation, we know that it was intended to be this way, with her saying in that conversation, quote, "Won't put my panties on." The backlash for this one was swift, and she ended up addressing it on her channel in a short video. After the scandal, she rebranded, but quickly changed back to her old fancy aesthetic, with people wondering if the rebrand was only to take people's attention off the scandal. And at number 4, Ava Louise. Ava Louise is an influencer that comes back into mainstream attention whenever she tries to expose other creators. She made headlines this year when she accused Kanye West of cheating on Kim Kardashian with a quote male beauty guru. Immediately after the video was posted, people assumed this person was Jeffree Star because they both live in Calabasas and have homes in Wyoming. However, it was later revealed that the person she was talking about was her good friend Cole Kerrigan. Now that the drama has subsided, many people who believed Ava during the midst of the scandal believe she was just lying for attention, especially since she later admitted to faking everything just for views. However, that could have just been to avoid a lawsuit. We may never know. And at number 3, Olivia Jade. Olivia Jade Giannulli has spent 2021 trying to recover from her involvement in the high-profile federal case Operation Varsity Blues. She even went on Red Table Talk in December of 2020 to try and tell her side of the story, which was met with tons of backlash. And it seems that 2021 has not been much better. career. She recently got into a scandal after she made a TikTok speaking about how everybody's pain is valid, regardless of how privileged someone may be. With her saying in that video, quote, "It doesn't matter if I'm drowning in 60 feet of water and you're drowning in 30. We're both still drowning." But that was called out to be tone deaf, with many saying that she wasn't being publicly shamed because of her involvement in the scandal, however being held accountable for cheating when she was already so ahead in life. In at number 2, Jason Nash. Jason Nash is a part of the Vlog Squad and is David Dobrik's right-hand man. He appears in practically all of David's content, from vlogs to their shared podcast views. And that means that Jason has been a part of almost all of the controversial events that have taken place with David and the squad recently. The most controversial stunt that Jason has been a part of is the SA prank on Seth Francois. This prank is what really started the downfall of the entire crew. If you need a quick refresher, basically David told Seth that he was going to be making it with Corinna Koch, but Corinna needed to be in a face mask for some reason. Then after the makeout, it was revealed that the person that Seth was kissing wasn't actually Corinna, but rather Jason. Many have called him out for partaking in the disgusting stunt, and he's being cancelled right alongside David. However, he hasn't commented on the backlash at all yet. In at number 1, Lil Nas X. Okay, obviously Lil Nas X isn't an influencer, he's a musical artist. However, he's one of the biggest trolls on the entire internet and posts frequently on his Twitter and TikTok accounts. So I think we can all agree that he's a rapper that uses social media the most to boost his career. Lil Nas X got everyone talking when he released the music video for his new song, Montero, Call Me By Your Name, that had satanic themes in it. Many religious groups got up in arms over the messaging in the video, which got it even more exposure. And the backlash is most likely what caused it to be one of the most successful music videos in the history of YouTube. The controversy surrounding the song also caused his limited edition 666 Satan shoes, which each contain a drop of human blood and cost over $1,000 per pair, to sell out in minutes.